As a beautiful young girl, what would you do if you woke up one morning only to find thick long hairs growing on your face, arms and legs? What would you do when the mirror no longer reflects the beauty everyone once praised? When your suitors disappear? When your friends turn to whisper? When your own reflection starts to scare you? Imagine the shock, the confusion, the fear. No explanation, no warning. Just a sudden change that no one can understand. This is the story of Judith, and nothing in her life would ever be the same again. Once upon a time, in a small but lively town of Mbano, there lived a young woman named Judith. Judith was beautiful in every way. Her skin glowed like fresh palm wine under the sun. Her teeth were white like coconut, and her heart was pure. Everyone admired her. Young men lined up just to greet her at the market. Mothers prayed for their sons to marry someone like her. Judith had a friend named Nkem. They had grown up on the same street, shared meals from the same plate, and even wore matching dresses during village festivals. To anyone watching, they looked inseparable, like sisters, but they couldn't have been more different. Judith was calm, soft-spoken, and content with life's simple blessings. She moved through life with quiet grace, never in a rush, never chasing after what wasn't hers. Her heart was pure and her smile came easily. Nkem, on the other hand, was a firecracker, loud, bold, restless. She wasn't the type to sit and wait for life to happen. No, Nkem was always chasing something, usually money. One week, she was selling fabric at the market, calling out to customers louder than any other trader. The next, she was baking chin-chin and meat pies, telling everyone her snacks were the best in town. A few weeks later, she announced she was now a mobile hairstylist, then a perfume plug, then a supplier of foreign wigs. She was everywhere and yet nowhere for long. Business after business, hustle after hustle, nothing ever seemed to stick. People began to say, Nkem wants success, but she doesn't have the patience for it. But Nkem didn't care what anyone said. All she wanted was to make it big, fast, loud, and flashy. One sunny morning, Nkem ran to Judith's house, her eyes wide with excitement and her voice louder than usual. Judith, I found it. The business that would change everything. No more failures this time. I'm going to start making hair growth oil. Judith looked up from the vegetables she was peeling and smiled softly. That's good, Nkem. I hope this one works out for you. But in her heart, Judith was worried. Nkem said those same words many times before. When she sold fabric, baked snacks, starred hair, and even tried selling imported shoes, nothing ever worked too long. Still, she encouraged her, just be patient this time. Good things take time. Nkem nodded eagerly and got to work right away. She turned her small backyard into a mini lab. Butters, herbs, oils, and strange-smelling roots filled every corner of her table. She would miss late into the night, trying out different combinations. After days of preparation, she began selling her products at the markets, promising people longer, fuller, and shinier hair. Just rub it into your scalp every night, she told her customers. You will see results in a week. But 1 week passed, then 2. People came back complaining and said nothing happened. Others complained their hair had started falling out. Sales dropped. The same people who had shouted her name before now avoided her shop. Whispers followed her around the market. Another failed business, they said. Nkem grew restless, frustrated, and humiliated by yet another failed business. She sat in silence one evening, staring at the bottles of unsold oil stacked in the corner of her room. Her dreams of success were crumbling. The gossip in the market was louder than ever. People had stopped taking her seriously. She couldn't face another day of failure, and that's when she made the decision to do something no one expected. something she herself never believed she was capable of doing. At dawn, with a heavy heart and a desperate mind, Nkem packed a small bag and left town without a word, not even to Judith. She journeyed for hours through narrow paths, across rivers and into thick forests beyond the hills. Her feet ached and her clothes clung to sweaty skin. But she pressed on. She was chasing something bigger than pain. Her destination was a small hidden village deep in the forest, known only through whispers. People said a witch doctor lived there, a man who could enchant anything. They said his power came with a price, but his work never failed. When she arrived, the place was silent. Strange symbols were carved into the trees. Animal skulls hung on wooden poles around a lonely hut. Just as she was about to knock, the door cracked open. "You've come," the witch doctor said without asking her name. "I need help," Nkem replied. "My product isn't working. People are laughing at me. I need them to believe my product would work." The witch doctor nodded slowly and walked inside. From a dark shelf, he pulled out a small bottle of oil. He held it between his hands, closed his eyes, and began to chant in deep, strange voice. The flames in the room flickered. The air grew colder. Then he opened his eyes and handed her the oil. "This is no longer ordinary. This oil is enchanted," he said, "but it comes with a condition." "I would do anything," Nkem said, her voice shaking. "You must rub it on the body of a beautiful girl," he said. "The more hair she grows, thick hair on her arms, legs and face, the more your customers will come." Nkem swallowed hard. "What about the girl?" "She will suffer," he said coldly, "but she will succeed." Nkem left the forest the next day. When Nkem returned from her mysterious journey, her heart beat fast, not from fear, but from excitement. Tucked deep into her bag was a small bottle of enchanted oil. She went straight to her best friend, Judith. With a big smile and sweet voice, she said, "Judith, I bought something special for you. This oil is not just an oil, it's very expensive. I bought it from a distant town. Just rub it on your skin and thank me later. You will shine like gold. Your skin will glow brighter than ever before and blind people's eyes." As she smiled mischievously, Judith's eyes lit up with joy. She trusted Nkem. If Nkem said the oil was good, then it must be good. That night, Judith stood in front of her mirror. She opened the small bottle and rubbed the oil gently on her face, arms, legs, and neck, smiling as she imagined herself glowing the next morning. At first, everything seemed normal, but 2 days later, something strange happened. She looked at her arm and saw thick black hair growing where her skin used to be smooth. She shaved it off quickly, thinking it was nothing, but the next day, the hair was back, thicker, darker, and longer than before. Within a week, it was everywhere, on her legs, arms, and even her shoulders. Her once beautiful skin was now hidden under a rough, bushy hair. Judith cried herself to sleep that night. The next day, Judith visited hospitals in every major town nearby. The doctors were kind but confused. They ran blood tests, scanned her body, checked her hormones, and even consulted specialists. But every single test came normal. They told her she was healthy. They said there was no medical explanation. Yet the hair on her arms, legs, and even the side of her face kept growing. No amount of shaving or waxing could keep it from growing. Desperate, she turned to spiritual. She walked barefoot into prayer houses. Sometimes in the rain, her mother followed behind her with a wrapper tied around her chest, carrying a Bible and a bottle of anointing oil. Together they knelt at altars, Judith weeping softly, her mother speaking in tongues. Prophet laid hands on her head. Some shouted into her ears. Some told her to sow a seed. Some told her she had angered the gods. They poured oil over her, fasted with her, prayed for her through the night. Still the hair kept growing. Her body no longer felt like her own. Her beauty, once praised by all, began to slip away. Her smooth skin turned rough. Her face, once always glowing and free, was now hidden under headscarves and veils. The makeup she once wore with pride was now forgotten in a drawer. The Judith who used to be called Adoma, the beautiful daughter, became a shadow. Suitors stopped visiting the house. Those who had promised to return never came back. Her mother, once hopeful, stopped setting out extra plates at dinner. The compound that used to be full of laughter became quiet. Then came the whispers. First from neighbors who saw her rushing out early in the morning, covered in layers of clothing even in hot weather. Then from old women who sat on wooden stools at the roadside. She is cursed, they said. She must have gone to a shrine. No ordinary girl grows hair like that. Forest woman, hairy witch, beast in human skin. She stopped going outside altogether. Her house grew quiet. The girl who used to laugh loudly and dance barefoot in the rain now sat in a dark room. She cried quietly at night so her neighbors wouldn't hear. Her mirror became her enemy. She avoided visitors. She avoided herself. Why me? She asked the sky. What did I do wrong? She cried into the arms of the person she trusted more than any other person, Nkem. Nkem, what is happening to me? She wept. I don't know, Nkem whispered, pulling her into a hug. But don't worry, we will find a cure together. I am here for you. I won't leave you. And Judith believed her. She had no reason not to. But behind Nkem's soft words and fake tears was something else. Satisfaction. Because with every new strand of hair on Judith's body meant more money entered in Nkem's account. Judith didn't know. She couldn't imagine that the oil Nkem had lovingly given her, the one she said cost so much money, was the very thing poisoning her life. And Nkem, she kept smiling. She kept hugging Judith tightly while praying for more hairs to grow. Not long after, Nkem's business took off like wildfire. It started with one woman who swore the oil gave her baby hairs after just a few days. Then another said her bad spot had filled up. Soon, women from nearby towns were calling Nkem non-stop. Her market store was no longer enough. She rented a bigger space in the center of town, painted it bright yellow and named it Nkem's magical touch. Big banners with her face hung outside. Her shelves overflowed with bottles of her so-called miracle oil. Money poured in faster than she could even count. Nkem bought herself new clothes, rich fabrics, gold earrings, sparkling shoes. Her hair was always freshly styled. She changed phones like she changed handbags. People in town began to call her Madam Oil, and she didn't correct them. She smiled and waved as if she had earned it all with sweat and prayer. Soon, a local TV station invited her to speak on a business show. She sat in front of the camera in her finest outfit, telling viewers about humble beginnings and never giving up. She never mentioned the witch doctor. She never mentioned Judith. While Nkem was rising, Judith was fading. Judith believed Nkem was her only support in the storm, but Nkem was the storm. One night, after another long day of tears, Judith fell into a deep sleep. Her heart was heavy, her body tired. That night, she had a strange dream. In the dream, she saw herself standing in the room. Someone knocked at the door. She opened it, and it was Nkem. In her hand, Nkem held the small bottle of oil. Suddenly, the oil started to glow. A voice whispered in Judith's ear, "Your pain started with this." She woke up confused. She started up breathing fast. Could it be true? Was this just a dream or a warning? She tried to ignore it, but the dream came again the next day. And again and again. Each time, the message was the same. Your pain started with the oil. Judith began to wonder. She remembered how Nkem had been the one to give her the oil. She remembered how everything changed after that. So one day, she made a decision. She went to visit Nkem, but this time, she had a plan. As Nkem stepped out to buy something from the roadside, Judith quietly went into her bathroom. She found Nkem's body cream on the shelf. Quickly, she opened the bottle of the same oil Nkem once gave her and mixed just a few drops into her cream. Then she left quietly and calmly. That night, Nkem rubbed the cream on her body like she always did. The next morning, she woke up with an itchy feeling on her arms. She looked into the mirror and screamed. Long, thick hairs had started to grow on her arms and face. She shaved them off, thinking it was a mistake. But by evening, they were back, thicker, darker, and scarier. By the third day, her whole body was covered. She panicked. She ran to Judith's house crying. "Please help me. Something is wrong," she cried, pulling her scarf down to show her face full of hair. Judith looked at her quietly. "Now you understand." Nkem froze. "You put that oil in my cream?" she asked in a shaking voice. Judith nodded slowly. "The same way you did to me." Nkem dropped to her knees and began to cry. For the first time, the truth poured out of her mouth. She confessed everything: how she went to the witch doctor, how she used the oil on Judith, how her business grew from her best friend's suffering. People in the village heard the news and they were shocked. The same Nkem they had praised and called Madam Oil was the one who almost destroyed Judith's life. They began to avoid her. Her shop was closed. Her customers left. No one wanted to be near her. Shame swallowed Nkem. She stopped eating. She stopped talking. She locked herself in her room for days. And then one morning, she was found lifeless in her room. Nkem had taken her own life. The village was quiet that day. People whispered and shook their heads. Some felt pity, others said she reaped what she sowed. As for Judith, her hair stopped growing. Slowly her skin became smooth again. Her smile returned, though her heart still carried the pain of betrayal. But one thing was clear to her: evil always comes back to its sender. And that is the end of the story. Thank you so much for watching and stay blessed.